Let's open a notepad here and let's write a simple code now. So what is the code? What I'm going to write? I know we don't know how to write a Python code. That's completely fine now. Okay, we don't know how to write the code. That's completely fine now. As we understood in the last session, that Python can be used for the web development, game development, analysis, data science, machine learning language, and artificial intelligence, and the list goes on. Right, the sky is the only limit. We can do a lot of things with the Python. Let's try to do one thing now. Okay, Python. Can you add two numbers? Okay, I want to add two numbers. 10 plus 20. How much? That is 30, right? So I want to see that output with the help of the notepad. But hold on. But in the notepad, you will not get this, right? You cannot get this output. 10 plus 2, 10 plus 20 equal to 30, you will not get that output automatically because this is a simple editor. Okay, so Python just to add two numbers, so we can easily say that 10 plus 20, and I want to know the answer, but you need to just hold on. As you have opened the notepad, okay, you will not get the output on the notepad itself. Of course, if you look at this 10 plus 20, it is a Python code. Yeah, believe me, this works in Python, but not in the notepad, right? So, then 10 plus 20 will not work on the notepad. We need to make it run. As we know, Python is interpreted language, guys, interpreted, okay? Python is interpreted language. What does it mean is whenever you write a program in the Python and when you try to run it, your interpreter will try to convert your language. Whatever the programming language we are going to write with the help of a Python will be converted into a binary code. Nothing but it will convert into a machine code where the machine can understand what you are asking, what you are questioning, what you are programming, what you are designing. So when my question is very simple, right? To the computer, can you tell me what is 10 plus 20? It is not understanding my question because I need some software. Okay. If I want to learn Java, I need to install Java. Okay. What you guys do basically when you want to play some game, okay, we have PUBG game, we have a lot of games in the, I don't know much about the games, but we have a lot of games, right? So what happens when you want to play a game, you'll go to the Play Store, you download it and you'll start working on it and you'll play on it. Okay. So that means we need something in order to play when it comes to games. When it comes to a language, okay, when you want to write your code, we need a software. But what software? Because being we are learning Python, we need a Python software. So let's try to install the Python now. As I mentioned, Python is interpreted language. It's a high level language and as well as interpreted language. That means when I tell computer 10 plus 20 in Python, what it does is Python will not understand these numbers or my language. The interpreter, nothing but the Python software, will convert my question into answer by sending these instructions to machine. Okay, it is just sending to the machine in the form of machine code and nothing but what we are talking about a binary code. So that's how I can see the output as 30. But for that, I need to install the software. So in order to install the software, please ensure you are not going to install right now. Just watch it carefully. What I'm doing step by step, I'll write everything on the notepad, how I'm doing it. Now later on, you can follow once the session is over. You can sit back and just go to your laptop or your desktop. Take your parents' help if possible. Don't go here and there on any other sites. I'll tell you all the sites which link to be used in order to install the software. I repeat again, why I need a software. Okay. The best example would be when I want to play a game. Okay. When I want to play a game, I download that particular game from the Play Store, that application I require, right? In the same way, when I want to write a program in the Python, I need to download Python software. When I want to write a program in C language, I need a C software. When I want to write a program in Java language, I need to download a Java software. In the same way, right now, I'm interested to download Python. That is the first step which you are going to do right now. So what you're going to do is follow all the steps what I'm going to tell you. Okay, follow all the steps. Don't try to install right now. Okay, don't waste your time. Just listen carefully, understand each and every step, and later on, take your own time to install and see. Okay, no doubt we are going to write a very big programs later, but before that, we need to also know the fact how to install a software. Okay, This is just my efforts to make you understand how to install a software. All right. So to install a software, what we need to do is we have to go to a web browser, right? What is a web browser? Web browsers, we have many, right? Like we have Chrome, we have Microsoft Edge, we have something called uh, Internet Explorer. These are called as a browsers. So what exactly the browsers does? The browsers basically helps you to browsers. What exactly the browsers will do? Browsers will help you to go for any website and view the website, right? So basically, when you're doing the web browsing, we'll use these browsers. When you want to download something, you'll go to the Play Store through your phone. In the same way, what I do is if I want to browse the internet, if I want to go to a Facebook, if I want to go to my education website, my school website, college website, what I do is I need to go to a web browser. So in these web browsers, we have something called Chrome. Okay. We have IE, nothing but Internet Explorer. We have Microsoft Edge also. So it doesn't matter which browser you're using. It's not really matter which one you're using. Currently, you can see I have something called Chrome. Okay, right now it's showing on my task. Like if you're not finding, you can type Chrome on your screen, on your startup. Once you click on that, it will take you to the web browser. So once you open your web browser, what happens is you can type in the google.com. Okay, this is my web browser. You can see it. Now it's a Google page is showing up. This is how you browse your internet. We all know it. Now, what I'm trying to search now, I want to install Python, right? So either you can go directly to the website, official website. What I mean is that is python.org. Okay, Python. Okay, something is there before that, that is www.python.org. www stands for, we all know that's a world wide web, okay, internet. Python is a name of the site. Org is nothing but organization. We have something, sometimes you also see .com, right? So .com is commercial. You'll also find something called .in, stands for India. All right. So now I need to go for official website called www.python.org. Don't go here and there. There are a lot of sites which helps you to download the Python, but don't go anywhere. Just go to this official site, python.org. You can type it directly here if you are very good at that. www. You type in as org. But if you don't know, just go to the search and say Python free download. Okay, this is the first step. What I'm going to do, Python. I'm going to write here, step 1, go for Python free download, right? Now, what is the next thing? Once you say enter, what will happen is it will try to display all those websites which is having this software. But don't go any other sites, please. There are many sites. If you see, okay, there are many sites which is helping you to download this software, but don't go anywhere. Just click on the very first one, which says www.python.org. Okay, this is what the official website. This is a official website. Let me open this. All right, this is the official website. So after getting this to site, what you do is, okay, this is the first step. This is a step 2. After going to this site, what you do is basically we need to click on this one, and we need to download the software. If I want to download the software, I don't know what is the latest version, right? So every time, so the version is keep changing. So it doesn't matter. Above 3, anything can be downloaded. As we know, 1 version, 2 version is not available in the market anyway, but you need to go for only 3. Under 3 also, there are different flavors, like you can see 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, 3.9. Okay. The thing is now, when you see many versions here, okay, the very first version which is directly telling you download the latest version for the Windows. Let me do what happens when I click on this. Okay, I don't have any idea if I click on this, it will install or not. Let's try to check this. Okay, when I click on this, it is downloading at the bottom. You can see at the bottom of the screen, downloading the Python. But where do I find this once it is downloaded? What you can do is go to downloads. Okay, go to downloads from your desktop, where you can see the file is downloaded now. Now, when I run this, will it run? Let's check it out. When I run this, it is asking me, do you want to run this file? because I'm in the process of installing a software. The way you try to install any game from your Play Store, the same way I'm doing on my computer screen right now. Not the game, but the Python. When you run it, if it is successfully runs, it will tell you, yes, it's installed. But here it is saying setup is failed. But why? There is some issue. It is not able to install on my system. The thing is, we need to understand there are different operating systems, right? Now, let's try to understand the error also here. What is the error? So that you can understand when tomorrow you are going to do error also, how to read the errors. It is telling your installation or setup, what you call as, is failed. Why it is failed? At least Windows 8.1 or Windows 2012 or Windows 10 or Windows 11 is required here, but I don't have. But how do I know which operating system I'm using? Okay, let's try to see. We have operating systems. We have a different operating system. You might have heard like Windows XP, Windows 7. We have Windows 8.1. Then we have Windows no 9. There is already directly 10. And the new operating system, which is already in the market, which is a Windows 11, right? Which is just born in the month of June itself. Like we got a new version operating system, Windows 10, 11. So now the thing is, how do I know which operating system I am using? Because by looking at your computer screen, you will not understand which operating system you're using. How do I know? The very simple thing, we need to go for start, watch it carefully, go to the start, go to this computer. There is something called option computer, right click on it and go to the properties. Once you go to the properties, what happens is you will see the complete story about your computer. What is your computer is having? Okay, what kind of operating system is having? How much hard disk you are using? What is the RAM you have? What is the RAM capacity of your system? Okay, you might be looking at, for the computer for the first time. You go to the computers, you'll come to know what is the RAM they are using. RAM is random access memory. It is a memory which helps you to run your applications very fast. The higher, the better, right? So here I can see Windows 7 Ultimate. That is my operating system. I'm not still on the new version called Windows 10. Why? Different reasons, right? Some computers will have older versions, some computers will have the newer versions. So we'll have a different versions here. We have a different versions here. So I can see I'll go again, just try to watch it carefully, go to the start, go to the computer, go to the properties. Once you go to the properties, what you can see here is you can see Windows 7 as an operating system. Okay, there we have something called installed memory is 8 GB. Okay, ensure that your RAM is at least 4 GB, which is very good to run your Python program. So I have 8, which is good. And system type we'll talk in a little bit time. So what is a system type? That is 64-bit operating system. You'll find only two operating system. One is 32-bit operating system. One is you'll find 64-bit. I'll explain you more what is that exactly. But before that, my concentration is what operating system I'm using. It is Windows 7, right? So that's why when I'm trying to install this software, which is a Python software, which is latest version, it's not allowing me. That is what the error I found. So let me install once again and see, is it the same error again I'm getting? It is telling at least was you need to have 8.1 or more version, not 7. So 7 is not the right operating system to install the latest version. As we are the beginning stage of learning Python, it doesn't matter which version of Python you're installing. Okay, it doesn't matter. It is the latest version is 3.9.5, which you can see here, but it doesn't really require to install the latest version because we are just learning, right? So it doesn't matter. Now, what you need to do is there is a different versions at the bottom. You can see in the downloads itself, there are different versions. We have a 3.9, which is not suitable to me because my operating system is Windows 7. If you have Windows 10, what you do is you can directly click on there and install. I'll show you the installation process. You need to click on download. The file will be downloaded like this if you have Windows 10. But I don't have Windows 7. Like me, if anybody is holding still Windows 7, they need to check 3.9. Okay, it's not suitable. 3.8. Let me see if it is suitable. Okay, click on this Windows 3.8. you can see a different versions at the bottom, right? Release date, released, when it is released. Every you can see in the within the Feb there are two versions. In the April there is a version. In the December there is a version. So every time there's a new version is coming up, and when you install a new version on your system, that version will automatically update it. So for you, there's no need to go and again install the new version all the time. It's not required. So now the thing is like which version I should go for, because my operating system is one step back, right? It is not 10 or 11. My operating system, I'm standing somewhere here, not XP, either 8.1 or 10 or 11. I'm standing somewhere here. So when I want a Windows 7 operating system related Python, what I need to do is I need to go for some older version, not the late. These are all the latest version, April 2, Feb. Somewhere let me go for a 3.8.7. Don't be worried. What is 3.847 and what is the latest version is all same versions. The only thing is with a little extra features, right? And this 3.8.7, no need to read the entire stuff. What is the documentation written? And just go down. Now, here is the important thing. I'll go back again. I'll try to show you again what is happening here. On the very first page, when you see, if you have Windows 10, guys, you can directly click on download Python 3.9.5 or any version tomorrow. If tomorrow version changes also, you can download the latest version. It is saying looking for a Python with a different OS, Python for Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac OS, and other. So that means this Python can be installed any operating system. But most of us, we use Windows operating system, right? So what I'm doing is I'm not this version is not suitable to my computer because my computer is still running Windows 7 for whatever the reason. So when I go down looking for the releases, go down, okay, and you can see the all the releases are mentioned here. Those who are using like me older version like Windows 7, what you do is go for Python 3.8. Let me try to do it. Go for version this. And those who are using Windows 10, click on the main screen itself. That is the first one. Click on the download screen. Okay, that is 3.9.5. For Windows 10, you say 3.9.5. That is a version. Okay, for lower versions, for Windows 10, you go for this one. That's it. Now, let me see the complete process of downloading and installing, which is very, very interesting actually. Now I'm clicking on 3.8.8. So let me click on that. Once you click on that, it is going to ask you two important questions, guys. This is very important for you to understand, being now you just started learning things. Okay, there are two things here. It is saying Windows installer 32-bit operating system. One is 64-bit operating system. This is what I was referring. When I go to my computer and I will see what is my computer style. My computer style right now, you can see system type is 64-bit operating system. Some computers have 32-bit operating system. This is very important. 64-bit or 32-bit. How do I know which bit my system is installed? This is how you see Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 11. You'll find everything on the Windows Edition column. And here, if you see installed memory, that means what kind of RAM you're using. It's a 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB, 32 GB. We have a 64 GB also in the RAM, right? So which GB you're using? I'm still using old 8 GB. Doesn't matter. It still works fine. And system type, what type of your system is? Is it a 64-bit operating system or 32-bit operating system? So now I know what operating system I'm having. That is 62-bit operating system, right? So for that, I need to click on this one, not this one. You need to click on 64-bit. Now just click on that. Instantly, you'll see that the file is getting downloaded on your computer screen right now. Once it is downloaded, where I can find, if you don't know how to navigate to that folder, just right click here itself and show in the folder. Can you please show me where this file is there? That is what I'm asking here. Show in the folder, it directly takes me to that folder. Okay, I'm deleting the old one because it's not required. That is the latest version. And this is my Windows 7 version, which I can use now. So I'm also writing on the notepad so that you can just remember this. Okay, this is Windows 8.0 and the file will be something like this. This is the file name. All right, so once you've done this, you can close your web browser. It's not required anymore. Now what you do is go to your folder, double click on it, or else right click. Okay, you can double click on it, no problem. Or else you can right click and say open. And one important thing which you need to notice, this is an application. You can see the first one is Monty Excel is a picture. So that's why it's showing here at the as a picture. And it is saying PNG image. It is an image. So always when you go to your Windows, it will try to tell you what kind of file it is. This file is not an image. This file is not a document. It is an application. It's a software. So it is also telling you what is the size. It is 27 MB file size. Okay, so now double click on the file. It will ask you one polite question. Do you want to run this? Anytime you can cancel if you're not interested, but we want to run it, right? So just click on the run. And what happens is, let me close this. Yeah. Now what happens exactly here? It's going to ask you, do you want to customize the installation or you want to install? I'm doing this for the first time on my computer screen. So obviously I need to install. Okay. And there are two options here. I'll explain you later. Add Python 3.2 path. Remember this one. Add Python 3.8 to the path. What is that path? We'll understand more later. Now I want to install. When you click on the install option, it will take some time. Just is asking again, do you want to go ahead? Yes. Now, once I say the installation process is started, now you are going to see a new software on your computer screen, uh, which is going to be a Python, where you can write programs, where you can do whatever you are going to learn from now on. So installation started, it will take, depends upon your computer speed. Sometimes it's very quick, sometimes it's slow. It's also Wi-Fi and your system speed depends. Okay, it should not take much time. You can see here, it's already started running now. Okay, slowly it's going on. This is how even when you're trying to download your games, that's how it will show you, right? Like the progress. So the green bar shows that the progress of the application which is getting installed in your system right now. Now, once the Python is installed in your system, we have to check whether it's working or not, right? So that all the process we are going to see right now. So have patience. Don't click here and there when it is getting installed. Don't disturb. Okay, when you click on cancel, it will stop. So be conscious, like we are not clicking anywhere. It's very important. When it is loading, don't touch your computer. Wait for some time. Depending upon your Wi-Fi speed and the computer speed, it will take some time. Okay. So it's running still. So as I mentioned, let me go to the notes again. As I mentioned, I repeat, you need to find out if your system is Windows 10 or 7, you don't know. Instead of asking anyone, what you can do is go to my computer and the properties. That's what I told you. Go to, okay, start programs and computer and right click on the properties. You'll see which operating system your laptop or desktop is having, right? So if you are having a Windows 10, directly click on the direct download, which is available on the website. But if you have the old versions like me, Windows 7 or Windows 8, what you do is try to go for a lower version like 3.8.8. Okay. And the file, once you download this file, it looks like. But very important thing, we need to understand what is 32-bit operating system and 64-bit operating system. Okay. Let me explain this. So before that, let me go to my computer again and properties. I want to see where it looks like, how it looks like. System type. System type, it is telling you 64-bit operating system. Some of you may have 32-bit operating system. Some of you have 64-bit operating system. So either that, okay, either one. Either it's a 32-bit or 64-bit. Now the question is, what exactly this term 32-bit and 64-bit, okay, refers to? What does it mean really? Okay, let me close this first. Setup was successful. Now you can see special thanks to some person without whose years shared. Okay, we have some information here. Just there's no click anything here. Just click on close. Okay, my Python installation is successful. Done. Now we'll see how the software looks like, how to open it, how to start, how to close it. We'll see every step. Okay, because we are seeing it for the first time, we'll try to go very slowly. So before that, I want to understand this 32-bit and 64-bit because whenever you install any software, not especially on your phone when you're downloading any game, but when it comes to computers, we need to make sure any file which you download. Now I downloaded this file, which is of 64. Okay, you can see a 64. What if it is a 32? It will not work on my system. So you need to ensure that it is 64 only. Now, what is 32 and what is 64? The term 32-bit and 64 refers to a ways the computer process your job. Okay. Whereas the 64-bit will try to process, can handle large amount of data. When you are working with huge amount of data, 64-bit operating system will work faster than 32-bit. That is the difference. 62-bit operating system will be faster to handle large data. That's it. That is a simple difference between 64 and 32. 32 is much slower. When you're trying to work with huge amount data, you can find the difference. But day to day, when you're working on the computer, you'll not find what is the difference actually. You'll not make out the difference. Only when you're working with a huge files, you'll see the difference. So don't worry about what is, shall I upgrade from 32 to 64? Nothing like that. Whatever is there, it's fine. Just trying to give a bit information, what is 64 and what is 32. This will handle much more information. That's it. And when you're installing operating system only, it should decide whether I should go for 32 or 64. That's up to each individual requirement. Okay. Now I understood what is 32 and 64. It depends upon the speed, right? So what is a bit stands for here? Bit stands for, let me write here, bit stands for binary digit. Okay, binary digit. What does it mean is a bit is more of a basic unit of information in computing. Okay, in a short way, we are calling it as a binary digit, which means it can only have one of two values, that is 0 or 1. Okay, bit is nothing but it is a most basic unit, right? It's a basic unit, which is nothing but an information in your computing, and which means it can only have of two values, that is either 0 or 1. That is what the bit stands for. So now you know what is 32, you know what is 64. Now 32-bit operating system works little slower when compared to 64. 64 is much faster. As I said, it can handle large amount of data. That is about what is 32-bit and 64-bit. So when you're downloading, just take own time. Don't be in rush in downloading everything. Start understanding, because those who are learning today, I want you guys to teach somebody. So you should have that patience when downloading, understand each and everything, and so that you'll be in a position to teach anybody, right? So you need to have the patience and understand the things. Go slow initially. Try to ask yourself a lot of questions. What is bit? What is 32-bit? What is 64? Why not 32? So when you try to get these kind of questions and answers, so what happens is your knowledge will increase and you'll be in a position to teach everyone, to teach anyone for that matter. Okay, after downloading, now the question is, it's a time to check whether my download is successful or not. Okay, how do I know now? Because if I want to go for my MS Word, what I'll do is I'll go to the start, I'll go for Word. If I want to go for some any app, Zoom, I'll go from Zoom. In the same way, if I want to go for Python, what you do is you type in as Python. Okay, once you type in a Python, you can see there is a IDLE. Okay, I'll go everything very slow. Try to understand this. This is the first time we are doing it. And once the installation process is complete, now need to check whether the Python is working properly or not. Okay, if you want to check whether it's working fine or not, we need to open what? You need to just type in as a Python, or if you are good at searching yourself, go here and go for all programs. On the all programs, try to find out where is Python, Python, Python. Okay, 3.8, because I loaded 3.8, not 3.9. When you click on that, we have Python related software information. Some documents is there, some IDLE is there. Oh, we'll see what is IDLE, very important. But if you don't want to search this way, simply want to search something like this Python, I got Python here. Okay, now let's try to understand which file to open, because I'm confused. There are 4 files showing up here, and which file I need to open, and in which file you are going to read and write the code. Okay, now the very first thing I'm going to open IDLE. I'll explain very clearly what is IDLE, but let me open this for the first time. IDLE, I'm opening IDLE. So open IDLE first to check if Python is working on my system. Okay, that is the first thing, right? If the Python is not working on your system, what the code you are going to write? So basically, I opened IDLE here. I repeat once again, I'll go to Python. Okay, and you'll see there are four. The first one I opened is IDLE Python 62 64-bit because I installed 64-bit. That's it, quite clear. Now, this is what you call as Python software. Looks like a notepad, right? It simply looks like a notepad. It doesn't have any graphical presentations here. It's simply notepad. Now, how do I know if this is working? Okay, the same question, let me ask Python now. We have a question, right? 10 plus 20, how much? We don't know, but we want the computer to answer. I want Python to answer me what is 10 plus 20, which I'm not aware. And moreover, the notepad is not giving the answer because notepad is not meant for Python. Of course, notepad can also be used, but I'll show you in a little bit later. But directly it will not give the output. We need a software which I just installed. So let me type 10 plus 2, how much Python? Let me say enter. Okay, it's giving the answer now. That means my Python is successfully installed. If you don't see this output, or it's not always 10 plus 20, guys, you can do whatever the mathematical operations you want to do, it can do it. I'm just giving an example. I'm not written even any code now, just 10 plus 20, which we usually do. And I'm getting the output. So let me see 5 plus 20, how much? Do I know? Yes, I'm getting the answer, 25. So that means my Python is successfully installed. So there are three different ways where you can run the Python. This is the first case, that is writing. Let me write here again. Three ways. Okay, three ways running Python programs. The first one we have seen is IDLE. I'll explain you what is IDLE, just hold on. But I just opened, I just ran my code and it is working fine, right? So that is the first one, what you have seen. And the second one, let's try to see how to run the second way. Okay, I'm just closing this. I'll show you everything very clearly later. This is just first step what we are trying to understand. Python, I got the second option. Can you see Python 3.8 64-bit? Let's see what happens by clicking on this. When I open this, it looks like a black screen, which is nothing but a command prompt, which you might have seen in your computers, like command prompt, CMD, nothing but command prompt. When you click on that, you'll see the same black screen. Okay. Anyway, this is a Python command screen. This is how it looks like. Now, if I want to write a 10 plus 10 same story, if I want to write here, I want to see whether it's working or not. 10 plus 20, Python, can you give me the answer? Okay, it's giving me 30 as an answer. That means I'm successful in installing my Python in my system. Now the question is, which one to use? You are telling me two things. That is, do you want to write here or do you want to write here? Okay, I have Python. Ideally, we have Python 3.8. You can write either this one or this one, doesn't matter. But I'll tell you the true picture. Are we going to use this simple notepad kind of editor to write our big programs? Not really. So this is the first step. We are just trying to understand that installation process, but actually the code you are not going to write here. I'll show you the trick for us to be start our coding process. The second one, I've been talking about a notepad, right? So let me see if I can write a notepad code. For that, I need to open a notepad. So let me open notepad. Okay, my notepad is open. Can I say 10 plus 10? I want to see the output. But let me see, I don't think so it will give an output, right, in the notepad. So I need to save the file. When I save the file, this file will be saved as a .txt. .txt means it's a text file. But actually, I'm writing a Python program, and I'm not supposed to save this file as txt. Rather, it should be saved as py, nothing but Python file. So let me say first dot py. What is the first? First is the thing, but the name of your program. I just created my first program, so I'm giving as first.py. Okay. Once you write first.py, this file will become a Python file. So I'm selecting my desktop and saving the file. Now you'll see that on your desktop, there is a file which is created. You can see here, there's a file created and you can also see the logo. This is the logo, right? This is a Python logo. This is how the Python is identified. Now you can see the file is completely changed. Now it is also telling if you don't know if it is a Python file or not. The first thing you need to identify with the logo. Second thing, when you place your mouse pointer on the screen on that file, it will show you it's a type. The type of the file is a Python file. Now you can double click directly, but I want to show another trick here. So for that, what I want to do is I want to go for the command prompt, the what I've showed you, that is Python 64-bit operating. Okay. All right. So I have written a program here. Simply let me close this for now. I'll open a notepad again. I'll say 20 plus 10. Okay. This 20 plus 10 anyway giving the answer. So let me write something different. Don't try to understand what I'm writing right now. I said a print within double quotes. I say Python for kids. I've written something. Don't try to understand what I'm writing. What is this open bracket? What is this closing bracket? What is this two dots? Okay, which is nothing but double quotes, of course, but don't try to understand what it is. And it is also saying print. What is print? We don't know. Okay, now let's try to save this file on my desktop. As I mentioned very, very clearly, if you don't specify, let's say this is as a second. Okay, just like that for fun, I'm writing as second. Okay, when I say second, if I don't save it as, if you don't put any extension, what is the extension means? If you have a Excel, there is an extension. If you have a notepad, there is an extension. If it is a Python, there is an extension. With the only extension, we are going to identify what software, what application it is. The way we are identified with our surnames, right? Harini, we have three Harinis here. They have the different surnames, initials. That's how we are identifying them. Otherwise, it's very confusing. Which Harini is talking what? So every application will have its own extensions through which you are going to identify. If I don't mention anything, it will take it as TXT, which stands for text file, but don't use text file. I want this Python file because I'm not using Python software. I'm simply using a notepad to run my code. Okay, what is the code I've written? A simple print something. Okay, let's not get into details. What is this? Because you are going to learn a lot from the third week session. We are going to get into the real programming. Now my file is ready. Let me go and see. Yeah, the file is ready. Now let me go to a command prompt CMD, which is a it is not a Python related one. Okay, it is not a Python related one. So where is my file is existing right now? On my desktop. So what I'm going to say is CD, and I say desktop and say enter. Once you say CD space desktop, what it will do is it will go to desktop folder from which you are going to write your Python. You are going to open your file, that is Python space second dot py. Once you say and enter, you'll see Python for kids. Is that amazing? I've written in Notepad. I'm able to run from somewhere else. That is the command prompt. So let me show again. I went to CMD, that is command prompt, through which it will show you what drives you have. If I say dir, okay, don't try to understand this. What is dir? Just I'm showing. When I say dir, it will try to show you what is there in your computer system, like what are the different folders you have, what are the different files you have. This is a command prompt of Windows. But why I'm using command prompt to write my programs? Not actually, I'm not writing a program, but what I did is smartly I've written in a notepad. I'm opening with a notepad now. Okay, now let me open this with a notepad. I said open, it is going to open in a notepad. So this, whatever the information which I've written, so let me go open and drag it and drop it also. We can see the code what you have written, right? So this code I've written in three ways. One is, let me go back to my notes again, because this is important. We have learned three ways of running, right? One is IDLE Python, right? Let me go back to this Python again. And this is a Python IDLE, and there is a Python shell. This is called as a Python shell. Shell is nothing but the software, Python shell. And the third one is command prompt. Okay, we have a three ways of writing, three ways of running, three ways where you can run this entire program what you've written. That is by using Python IDLE, Python shell, Python, that is a command prompt. Okay, command prompt. So when I go to Python Python IDLE, let me see how it looks like once again, because I want to see how it looks like. Okay, this is how your Python shell looks like. Just imagine, can you write a big programs on this kind of a notepad? No, not really. For a beginner, yes, it's a good software to start with because it's an official Python software, right? So basically, when you want to write very large programs, maybe a 10 lines program, 20 lines program. This is not the ideal uh, software to write. We have other softwares where you can write the programs. So let's try to understand where we can use, where you can write and design the programs easily so that we can write very quickly, understand and find the issues also. Because in this, if I write any errors, let's try to understand I am writing as print opening and I'm saying, hello kids, I've written some code, and while writing only, I want to know what is the error I'm doing, but I will not come to know because this is a simple editor shell. Okay. When I say enter, it is telling invalid syntax, but I don't know where is the mistake I've done actually. I don't know. Is it a problem with double quotes have not given, or I'm writing in uppercase? I don't know exactly what is the error I've done. So this is a problem with this ideally, which is of a Python. So we are not going to use this for our learning purpose. Okay, whatever the three ways you are learning, I want you to understand being beginner. Okay, though we are not going to use these three ways, what you learned just now, that is Python ideally, Python shell, Python command prompt. We are running three ways, right? Okay, those who are having a still doubt, just watch my video carefully again. And these three ways, what you have seen, we may not use at all. We may not use at all because I'm going to show you a beautiful software through which you are going to learn this entire Python programming. Okay. So the command prompt you have seen how quickly it is trying to give you an output. Okay. Now, in order to write the code, whether in a notepad or in the shell, it looks like a little bit problematic, right? Like one single line of code, it's fine. But when you're writing big programs, it is not ideally suitable. So what we need to do is we have to install IDLEs. Okay. Let me write here IDLE. IDLE stands for Integrated Development and Learning. Okay, what is IDLE? What is IDLE? IDLE stands for, even Python is also having a IDLE, right? So if you can see at the back, IDLE shell. So this is the IDLE. IDLE stands for integrated. I stands for integrated. D stands for development and learning environment. What is this IDLE is basically is, it's a collection of different tools or application which will help you as a developer. Like you are a developer and I am a developer, so it will help us in developing any product or any game development or any web designing, which will make our lives very, very easy in creating these things. So I'm not going to use Python ideally, rather I want to use some other IDLEs. So let's try to understand what are the other IDLEs available. Okay. And we should also think about it. Why the ID is so important, right? Well, think about a scenario. You are going to make a pasta at home, right? Okay, you are going to make a pasta at home. So for a tuna, for this today's dinner, you are planning for to create a pasta. Even though you know the recipe, how to create it, like you need to switch on and you need to put the water, you need to boil it, you need to do a lot of things, right? You know the recipe, you are good at that. But even though you know the recipe, you will need to have the ingredients and appropriate tools, right? You need to have a stove, you need to have the lighter, you need to have the water, pure water, and you need to have all this masala which you use for your to make the pasta, right? You need all these ingredients. If you don't have these ingredients, you cannot complete the dish called the pasta, right? So in the same way, what happens is, when you want to create any program, when you want to create any web development or game development, whatever the program you want to create, we need all the required ingredients. And I don't see all these ingredients in Python shell or Python ideally, because while writing the program itself, it is not telling me what is the error I'm doing actually. I'm coming to know only when I say enter. After writing my program, when I say enter, coming to know what is the error. But that should not be the way. When I'm writing the program itself, I should know what is the error I'm doing. So this is not the best choice for me. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use IDLE. Now you understood why the IDLE is so important, right? Like, as I said, like, even if you know the recipe, how to make the pasta at your home, because you guys are good at cooking, right? But what the most important thing, even though you know the recipe, you need the all required ingredients in order to make the pasta. In the same way, when you want to write a program on your computer screen, you need a better tools and applications which will help you to identify the errors, write easy to write the code window, that kind of environment we require. So that's why we are going to use IDLE. So what are the different IDs, LEs, or you can say simply IDL. Okay, pronunciation a little bit complicated. IDLE. Instead of saying that, you can say simply IDL, integrated learning development. So what happens is when you talk about IDLEs, there are different IDLEs available. Okay, one is there is something called Jupyter. Okay, we have something called PyCharm. What are these? Don't worry, I'll explain you. We have something called Jupyter. We have something called PyCharm. We have something called Anaconda. Somebody was referring Anaconda. Uh, we have Sublime. Sublime is there. We have something called Ellipse is there. Okay, we have PyDev. We have a different tools, guys, and there's no need to learn everything. Sublime. What is this? Sublime Text. Yeah, Sublime Text, and we have something called, for everything we need to install it. It will not come automatically. We have something called Atom. We have something called VS Code. Uh, we have something called Spider. Okay, what are all these things actually? Are this everything I need to know? Not really. Okay, there is no need to install all these applications on your computer, right? We already have a Python, which is a great shell where you can write the programs, but I'm not really comfortable. Why? The reason is, if it is a single line code, I'm able to write, I can learn things. But if I'm writing multiple lines, it will be very difficult for me to understand. And moreover, it is not giving instantly the errors for me, right? It's not showing up the errors. After writing the line, when I say enter, it's showing me the error, which is not the right way. While writing only, if you tell me where is the error, I can correct myself, right? That is the best way. So that's why I'm going to install other softwares which will help me to write code very efficiently. Okay. The advantage of using these IDs are basically, we can say something like, whenever you use this IDs, what happens is, when the entire code, okay, the advantages, let me write the advantages here so that you can make sure before we install what is the advantages of IDLE. Okay, IDL or IDLE. The first advantage we can see here, mhm, save and reload code files. That means whatever the code you're writing, everything you can save at one place, and whenever you want to load it again, we can easily load. But basically in the Python shell, it's not happening, right? Like, it's running, and once you close it, the Python program is gone. Either otherwise you need to save it as .py separately. So, but when you use IDLs, which I'm going to show you very soon now, within next 5 minutes, we are going to see the best advantage is when you use IDLs, like you can save and reload all the files, run the code. That is the main advantage actually. Run code from within the environment. That means you might have observed, like I opened in a notepad, written there, went into a command prompt to run it. So there's a different process I'm taking in order to run it. But if you try to install IDL, which is a software again, okay, you can write the code there itself. You can write the notes itself. You can run directly the code from that environment. So you can do everything there, right? You can write the notes as well. You can run the code from there itself. So that's the advantage of using IDLE. And the third line is debugging. Okay, this is very important word which you need to understand. Debugging, very simple, you need to understand. That is, when I do a mistakes, I need to fix it, right? Whatever the mistakes you do, it's not only Python. Wherever you do the mistakes, you need to fix it. If you don't fix it, your program will not run. I want to say 10 plus 20. I've written something wrong, so I'm not getting the output as 30. So if you want to get the 30, your code, the what you've written is should be correct. And who is going to help me to fix these errors? These IDLs will have that capacity or the feature which can help you to fix those errors. I'm using the word fix those errors. Okay, if you want to fix those errors, that process is called in the technology, what you call that process is called as debugging process. Okay, debugging is nothing but you are trying to fix the bugs. That is debugging. Okay, this debugging is made simple by using your ideas, because what you have seen in the on this. All right. All right, we have seen the first advantage is basically saving and reload code files will be very easy. Second one, running the code from within the same environment. That means you'll write the code there only. You'll write your notes also there only. You'll run the code from the same software. That's the best thing, right? Not going here and there. The same software can be used. And the debugging process, as I said, this word is very important. Debugging is nothing but simple terms. When you are doing some errors, mistakes, we usually do mistakes, right? When you're writing a code, because we need to follow some syntax. When you do mistakes and when you're trying to fix them, that process is called as a debugging process. Okay, so that debugging process is available in ideals. Which ideals I don't know, because we have so many, right? We'll talk about that later. We have so many ideals. It's not only what I've written here, there are a lot many, but we'll try to pick up the easiest one for us. Being a beginner, we'll try to pick up one. Somebody saying Jupiter, somebody saying Anaconda. We'll see what are all these things. The fourth one, we have something called automatic. Let me write in same case. Automatic code formatting. Okay, automatic code formatting in the sense, whenever you're trying to write the code, whether you're writing uppercase or lowercase. Okay, we know cases, right? So this is uppercase. Okay, this is lowercase. This is proper case. That is U is upper and rest is, this is a proper case. This is uppercase. This is lowercase. This is, so automatic code formatting will be very good in ideals. That means when you're writing, it will show in a colors which you can easily identify them. What is showing in blue color, what is showing in pink color, what is showing in red color. With the colors, we can easily identify them. That's the advantage of using ideals. Automatic formatting will be done by the system itself for you. There is no need to do any formattings. Okay. So these are the different advantages of using these what do you call ideals. So we have ideas like Jupyter, we have a PyCharm, Anaconda, Sublime, Ellipse, we have Atom, VS Code, Spider. So do I need to learn all? Not required. Why? Because these are the softwares on in which you are going to write the program. So what you need to learn is Python, not the software. So one thing you need to learn is, before you write actually Python code, we need to see how to install them. Now you may have questions in your mind now, which software is used for what? All these softwares can be used not only for Python, for other programming languages also. But now I want to use this ideals. Okay, these ideals I want to use for writing a Python program. So let's try to see how to install them. And that's it. We'll try to go ahead and try to install one of the software. But before that, all right, so we are talking about the advantage of using IDL, which we haven't seen how it looks like actually. We haven't seen. We just learned how to install the Python software directly from the Python org. This is an official website. Don't go here and there. I'll share the link in the group from where you can install it. But before installing, take your parents' permission. If it's already there, ask them to uninstall. You can also see how they are uninstalling it. Uninstalling is nothing but removing the software from the system. Okay. So uninstall it and install by yourself. Ask your parents to watch it, how you're doing it. Okay. They will really like it, how you're installing, because now you know how to install it, right? Install it and see. Very important is once you install, whether it's working or not, that is very important, right? So you open the editor, write something like 10 plus 20, because you don't know much coding right now. Even I don't know. We know only 10 plus 10 how to add. So just do it, and if it is working, then you're good to go for the third week session, which is upcoming third Sunday. All right, so now what you're going to do is um so the first advantage which I was referring is saving and reloading the code files, running the code within the environment. Debugging support is there, automatic code formatting is there. So we have a lot of softwares here. Instead of installing all, I'll tell you the easiest way of installing one thing and you'll get all. Not all, but few of them. Let's see. So the very first software which I'm going to install now, which is called as Anaconda. Okay, the software name is Anaconda. This Conda software is a combination of many applications. And please do remember, whatever the software which I'm installing is not specifically for Python actually. The same anaconda or conda can be used to write your C++, C, Java, or any other language, as I mentioned, like any language, Ruby. These languages also you can write a code, but we are learning Python, so we are using this anaconda to install. We are installing Anaconda to write the Python program. So Anaconda will come with other softwares also. We'll see by default when I install Anaconda, you'll also it comes with other softwares. Let's see. So if you want to install the Python Anaconda, what you need to do is just open the web browser as usual. Don't go for any Play Stores or something until unless it is required. Now, once you go to this web browser, what you need to type is either you directly type here if you know, okay, if you don't know what is the site name, write it here, Anaconda free download. Simply just type in here and you'll get the very first site. Okay, the very first site saying anaconda.com. So whenever I'm installing any software for that matter, if it is coming from the official website, official in the sense I'm installing Anaconda, so it is the site name is also Anaconda. If I'm installing Python, the software, the website name is also Python. So that means that is an official website, official website. Okay, don't go here and there because it will prone to some uh, errors or incapable capable of softwares or virus. So don't go for that. The very first one you can see, this is how you are going to write Anaconda free download. This is the spelling Anaconda. Conda. That's a conda. Anaconda. Anaconda free download. Search in the Google. And the very first link we are getting is this. So I'm copying that as well so that I can share this notepad with you guys. Okay. This is a individual edition. Little confusion here. What is individual edition and all? We'll see later. Anaconda, this is the link here. That's it. So once you click on this first link, it will take a lot of time because it's a huge file, guys. So you need to have patience and look at the way I'm downloading it from the website. So you can see official website and the logo. Always try to remember the logos, guys. Okay, because we human beings to remember anything, actually we remember with pictures. With pictures, we can remember forever. Even if you see some scene today in the form of picture, even if I ask you from after 20 years or 30 years, you can still remember that because pictures will remain your subconscious mind forever. So always remember the logos. You know how the Python look like. You have seen, right? The Python logo looks like this, blue and yellow color combination, some Python logo. This is Anaconda, how it looks like, green color circled one. By looking at the logo, you should say what is this software is all about. Okay, Anaconda. Now you got to know one new software. Now come down, come down. There's a lot of information is written. If you have time, just go through what is this mean. It's not really required because we are not learning the software, but we are using the software to write the Python. All right, now just go down and see what all the stuff is required. Now you can see these are the different things which comes by default with the Anaconda. But I want to show you practically rather than this picture. Let me go down, go down, go down and see what all you have. Okay, it is saying a lot of things here. It is talking about a lot of information about the website, right? So it is having what is Anaconda used for, a lot of information. If you want, you can read it, but it's not really recommended because we are not learning Anaconda here, we are learning Python. So you come down to the last section. If you see the last section, there is something called 64-bit and 32-bit. Okay, again, the same question. What is 32-bit and 64-bit? Okay, we need to go for 64-bit or 32-bit. I don't know how to understand. Go to the computers, go put the properties, and you'll see which operating system you are sitting right now. The system type I'm referring to 64-bit operating system. So that means on the first section only. Why? Because I'm using a Windows. If you're using Mac OS, okay, Macintosh operating system, use this one. Somebody in the group is using Linux, so they need to go for this Linux, whether 32-bit or 64-bit, whatever. Now in this, I'm not interested in 32-bit because my system is not 32-bit operating system. Just click on the 64-bit operating system. The moment you click, it is going to take some good amount of time. You can see it's going to complete the process in 3 minutes, and you can see it's trying to show you the time. And the file size, you can see here, it is 477 MB file. So it's a very big file, right? So before you installing, talk to your parents and ask them to sit beside you while you're doing this so that they can also understand what you're doing. Okay, so 50 seconds left, 45, 42. It takes different timings in a different systems because of your Wi-Fi speed, because of your system speed. Don't don't take my speed as your speed, because your speed might be much higher. It may take few seconds in some systems. In some system it takes minutes, and system takes hours also. So it totally depends upon system to system. Now, once a file is downloaded, where I can see in the download folder. If you don't know how to go to the download folder, this is like C drive. Your Monty Excel is my computer name. Every computer will have its own name, right? So this is my Monty Excel is my folder name, and computer name. Under that, we have a downloads as a folder. If you don't know how to navigate there, don't worry. Just right click on the download what is happening on your Chrome's browser. Just say show in the folder. Once you say in the show in the folder, it's still not completed. Actually, you can see 488 MB, whereas your Python software is only 27 MB, whereas your Anaconda software is 488 MB. It's a very, very big file. Okay. Once this is done, there's no need of using this browser. I'm closing it. Okay. I'm closing it. Now I have done my installation process. Okay. The file setup file is downloaded, not everything. Now what I do is I'll simply go to the downloads. All right, like you can see the logo style. This is how I want to remember. Okay, anything I want to remember with the picture, so that even somebody is not showing what is the name of this logo, also tomorrow if any competition, you can simply say this is a Python software logo. This is Anaconda, this is a PyCharm. Okay, we haven't seen the PyCharm. This is Jupyter Notebook. How you can remember? Only with the logos. Now what you can do is double click on this circle one. Okay, this is application. Okay, let me show you, is it application or not. Monty Excel is an image. Python is an application. Anaconda is also an application, and it also, you can see the size of the file 488, very big, right? So right click and say open. Once you say open, what happens is it will start. For the first time, it is trying to install in your system, so it will take time. You need to have a lot of patience here. Don't be in a hurry. Don't click here and there when you're trying to install some software on your computer screen. Okay, now let me go to, now what you do is, now what you do is just click on the run. Now, once you click on the run, it will start initializing that software. You can see 88% is over. Now it's trying to tell you, welcome to Anaconda. It has some operating system version as well. Don't worry about which version. Every version will do. And you can also see a 64-bit operating, because my system is 64-bit operating. So once you say next, what happens is it will ask you, there's a license. Do you want to agree it? Yes, of course, you need to agree it. And please do remember, it is a free software, guys, free software. There are two options it's asking here, just me or all users. Don't use all users, just use just me, because you're using on your personal laptop, right? Okay, those who are using in companies, they will use all users, so that all users can use. But let's not get into that. We are using our personal laptop, your dad's or mother's laptop you're using, or your own laptop. So just use just me as a first option. Don't change anything, just say next. This is very important. Now, where I want to install this, whenever you install any software, either it will go to a C drive or D drive. Okay, some people will have, some systems will have C, D, E, F, G, so many drives, depends upon the size of the hard disk. I have C and D. Always ensure you are installing in C. Now, when I click on here, if you want to change anything, if you want to change anything, if you want to change anything, what you can do is, if you want to change anything, what you can do is from C. All right, you can see the C drive is a by default drive which will take, and it will also tell how much space I require if I want to install this. It requires 2.9 GB and I have a lot of space, that is 33. So this is enough to install in C drive. Don't worry about this. By default, everybody will have a space in the C drive. Now say simply next. Okay. Is not empty a different location. Okay, I have already installed and uninstalled, so that's why it's having a different issue altogether. So let me click on this and see. All right, I'm trying to install a D drive. You can go for a C drive if you have space. So when I say next, it is asking you two options, add Anaconda path. So click on it, though it is showing an error here, doesn't matter. Click on it and register. You also say this option. Once you say install, what will happen is it will start installing, and it takes very good amount of time. Though it's showing you very fast installation, but it will stop here, and it takes very good amount of time. Maybe 10 minutes it will take, or more than that, depends upon your system speed. So once this installation happens, I'll show you all those software which are available in this Anaconda, so beautifully designed. One stop for all the applications, one stop for all the applications. All right, we can see some time it has taken it to install, depends upon your system speed. Those who are talking about Jupyter, PyCharm, different editors, different IDLEs, don't worry about it. Once you install this Conda, that is Anaconda, on your machine right now, what happens is it will show you multiple applications which you can use. I'll try to answer that questions also, which is the best one to use, which one is not to use, because I'm just learning. So do I need to use this one or that one? We'll discuss all these questions, okay? But let me install this. Now Anaconda is completed successfully. Let me say next. Once you say next, it is going to tell you like my job is done. So say next. It is asking you, do you want any tutorial? No, I require, do you want any? Nothing. So simply uncheck or check, doesn't matter. So simply say finish. Now, what exactly happened actually here? I installed 427 MB of size file on my computer. All right. So now I want to see whether this Anaconda is really available on my system. For that, what I need to do is I have to go to the start. I need to start searching for Anaconda. Okay. Once you say Anaconda, you will find a lot of options again here. Don't go anywhere because you know very well Anaconda looks green color circled one. Click on that Anaconda Navigator. Once you click on the Anaconda Navigator, this is actually a Conda, okay, Anaconda. Now, so what happens is basically it, as I'm opening for the first time on my computer, it will take some time because it has to understand my system. It will configure. It will take some time to open that software. Okay. Now you can see the green color circle on my computer screen showing that I'm trying to open. So it's trying to open on the computer right now. It's trying to add some features. It is trying to configure. Okay. Trying to, you're making your system ready with this Anaconda. Once the system is opened with Anaconda, you'll see there are all those softwares which I was talking about. Okay, all the softwares you are going to see. Now you can see there are a lot of softwares available here. Don't try to understand each and every software which is available. As I said, like it's like a one supermarket available all the products at one place. It's like a supermarket, right? When I download Python, only Python is available. But when I download Anaconda, it is not just Anaconda, it is coming with a lot of softwares. It's a one stop with all the products. Okay. Now, what are the softwares I need to install then? Okay. The first software, there are three softwares, which major softwares, which you can see. Now, the question is, if I install all this on my system, do I need to use it? No, not really. Pick up any one software of your choice and start working on it. That means if I am using PyCharm, just example, to write my program, the same program can be written in the Spider also. The same program can be written in the Jupyter notebook also. There is another application called Orange 3. There is another application called Jupyter Lab. There's another software called RStudio. So these are all different applications or IDLEs, which are more graphical, colorful, easy to write. You can increase the font size. You can do whatever, a lot of fun things in this particular software. Okay. So what I want to do is the very first thing I want to see how the spider looks like. Spider. Okay. So for that, what you see on the computer screen right now, it is just that a application with like a Play Store, right? What you see in your phone environment, Play Store, it's just like Google Play Store, just like that. It's not Google Play Store, but looks like that. It is all the applications. Now, what you need to do is click on the install option. Now it will, for the first time, we are seeing this Anaconda Navigator for the first time. So it's asking you to install. But next time when you open, it will not ask you to install because it's already there, right? So once you say, okay, it is trying to install this spider on your system. You can also double click on the next one also to see that, but I'm just going with one first to see how to install spider on your computer. So we need to have patience because it's the first time we are trying to do. Once it is done, the installation process is already completed behind the scenes. Now I'm clicking on launch. Launch, what launch means? We are trying to open my spider. Okay, spider, what is a spider? Spider is basically a software. IDLE. You can read it here. Scientific Python. Okay, you can see it's a Python 4. The version is Python 4. And spider looks like this. A gray color web with red color snake, something called. That's a logo. Every company will have some logo, right? So the spider is opening on my system right now. Let's not be scared and just try to see how it looks like and wait to start the program. I'll explain you everything. So looks so beautiful. Looks so beautiful on my computer screen right now. You can see where to write the code. I have not written any code. Okay, let me just remove this first option, which will get say okay and cancel, not required, and it is still not completed, it's still progressing. Okay, what happens is this is a left hand screen. I can use my control and mouse to increase the font size. If I say I want to see whether it's working or not, 10 plus 20, same question again. How to run it? By the way, you can just click on run here. Otherwise you can just select and right click and run. Okay, we'll see all these things in the next session, but just giving an example, just run it and run it. But where the output is going to come, let's see. Once I run this, you'll see that it is running and it is going to give the output here. Okay, it's still installing. Actually, you are not getting the output. Now, this is where the console, you are going to see the output of the spider. And this is another window which we'll speak in the third week session, because this is a variable concept which we cannot understand at this moment. So whatever I'm writing here, whatever I'm writing, which will simply, let me write simply, I don't know how to write print. Let me see if I can write print print. Oh, it's already telling you're writing wrong. Okay, what does it mean? That means, can I not write in uppercase? Maybe. Let me see small case, print. Still it's saying you're wrong. So how do I write then? Maybe you need to write completely lowercase. So this is the kind of help which you are going to get with the softwares, right? Till now, I didn't speak about whether we need to write the programs in lowercase, uppercase, or proper case, but I'll tell you later. Now, after the print, I don't know how to write the code also. So once I open the bracket, it will tell you, see, it is going to give a lot of help file. So within double quotes, if I say only type double quotes once, it's writing twice. I'm saying, hello kids. Now what happens is your code is ready. Now, very completely colorful, graphical. You can select this and run it. You can you can see that there is an output, hello kids. So that means whatever the program I'm going to run, everything you are going to see the output at the output window. This is called an output window. We will try to understand more if we are going to use this one. Okay, if you are going to use this one, we are going to learn about spider, but every ideal looks same. I mean, with a different features. Maybe we'll have a code window where you are going to write the code here. Okay, and this is the output window. Some output windows will be at the bottom, some will be at the right side. So this is the spider looks like, but I'm still not telling you the actual secret which one I'm going to use. But I want you to understand, because tomorrow when I'm writing a program, I want to test it in spider, I want to test it in python, I want to test it in other softwares also. We'll see by doing writing the same code in a different software. So right now I'm closing it because I understood how the spider looks like. Now let me go for one more thing, that is PyCharm. Okay, remember that three things which I'm going to talk about. One is spider, let me write here, and one is PyCharm, one is Jupyter Notebook. Okay, these three is enough, more than enough. There are so many actually. And what is my favorite and which one we are supposed to use, we'll learn everything. But I want you guys to install all this and explore it, how it looks like, how to write. I want you to comfortable, so that tomorrow if somebody asks ideal, you can give examples how they can help you. You can mention all the features also. That will help you. Okay, so let me go for this PyCharm again. Now installation process is still going on. This PyCharm also takes a little bit higher time because of a huge file. Now it's trying to go to the website and cross check for this PyCharm. Okay, now PyCharm is ready for your download. Now I'm saying download now. It is going to download a file, a simple file. And PyCharm is two versions actually. One is a paid version, one is a paid version, one is a free version. So I'm going to use a free version because we are not using a paid version, because most of the things in the Python are free, IDLs are free. So when you are installing, ensure that you are installing only a free version, not the paid version. It is saying a fully fledged JetBrains. JetBrains is nothing but a JetBrains is a company from which this PyCharm is developed. So this is PyCharm. Let me go for Jupyter also so that I can quickly show you before we sign off for today. I'm clicking on launch. So Jupyter is something, a different one actually. I can say from any other IDLEs. All the IDLEs are like applications, right? Spider you have seen just now. It's like application, a tool. But Jupyter is something like it's like a web browser only. Web browser, the Chrome web browser which you opened just now. Okay, it looks like that only. Let's try to open and see. I'm saying launch now. So Jupyter Notebook is going to open. It will take some time because it's the first time when you're opening, it will always take time because it has to understand your system first before opening. Next time when you're opening, it will not take time. Now it is opening in the Chrome. That's what I said. Jupyter is little bit different from other softwares because it opens on the web browser. So once this Jupyter Notebook is open. Why it is called a Jupyter Notebook? Because what you do in basically in notebook, you'll write, you color it, you put a lot of things on the notebook, right? In this notebook, what you can do is you can write the code. You can also write your own notes. Okay, the way you're writing notes on your notebook, the same way this notebook can also be used to write the notebooks. Now you can see there is a difference, guys. There is a difference between the Spider and the PyCharm, which I'm going to install. There is a difference. This is a Chrome browser, nothing but a web browser. Okay, it is installs on your web browser. Now, way to write the code, that is the question here. Okay, right now it is it's showing all those folders what we have in your desktop. Okay, all those desktop. Now, what I want to do is click on the desktop because I want to save for now. Click on the desktop. Now I want to click on Python 3 because we are using a Python 3, right? So either you can create a text file, either you can create a folder, you can create a terminal, but I want to go for Python 3 because I want to start programming. When you click on Python 3, it will take you to the next screen. Guys, in the next session, we'll see more detail, just giving an idea what is this all about. That's it. Don't worry if you're not understanding what I'm saying right now. So what happens is this is how this Jupyter looks like. And this is what your editor, okay, where I can write my program. IN stands for input. That means if I want to write some my code, this is where I'll write. So 10 plus 20, again, the same question. How to run the code? Okay, we have some button here. Let me try this. Okay, the output is 40. Okay, I want to write something called print. Okay, now how to run this again? Okay, so this is how the Python is really working on my system by using a IDLE, which is a graphical user interface. This is called as a Jupyter Notebook. In the Jupyter Notebook, we need to learn some little bit more about Jupyter to be very familiar. Okay, to be work very fast on the Jupyter. I'll explain you everything in the next session before we actually start the Python programming. Okay, before that, we need to learn certain rules to be followed in order to write the coding part. So this is what the Jupyter Notebook looks like. And don't go for other softwares which are not really required. Orange is also one of the good one to use. R Studio, R is now again, it's a new language. Okay, so R is a programming language once again, just like a Python. PyCharm, let me show you from the browser how it looks like. I'll go to Google, and if I'm trying to go for Anaconda and installed PyCharm, it is asking for a paid one, I believe. So what you do is you simply type PyCharm free download. That's it, very simple. PyCharm free download. When you click on that, it has two versions basically, which we need to understand here. One is a free version, one is a paid version. So never go for a paid version at this moment because we have just started learning, right? So only those developers who are working on big programs, they will try to buy it because they need it. So this is a professional one, which is a paid one. Okay, paid one. That means we need to pay $149 per month if you want to use this software, but not required. There is a one free one. This is a community one which you need to use. I repeat, there are two options here: professional version. One is a community version. You need to click on the community download. Once you click on that, a very big file again will try to download on your computer screen right now, which will show, it will ask you to click on this. This is not required by default. You can see it is already getting installed. So the first one which I was trying to install is wrong because it is going for a paid version, I believe. So let me remove this PyCharm, not PyCharm. Yeah, this one. There's a professional version which is got installed. So don't try to install, I repeat, don't try to install PyCharm from this Anaconda because it is taking you to the paid version. So don't go for that. So what I did, very simple. I went to PyCharm website. PyCharm is itself is not a company name. It is a software name. So what is a company name here? It's a JetBrains. Okay, JetBrains. JetBrains is a company name. And this is once your software is downloaded, that is 12 seconds is left. Let me show you practically how it looks like when I open, and this is a beautiful, beautiful software. I started learning this complete Python programming by using this PyCharm because PyCharm is so beautiful. There is no difference in writing in a different IDLs. It's our personal choice when you are learning the beginning basics of Python. But if you want to do a web designing, then a separate IDL we need to use. If you are using a game development, you need to use a separate one. But for us, it's not required, right? Because we are just learning the basics from A to Z. Any IDL will be sufficient. Anything will be sufficient. So my PyCharm is ready. Let me click on it. It's going to take me to it's going to take me to the installation process now. Uh, okay, it's asking me to run. Okay, let me run this. It should not take much time now. I think it's installing. I want you to remember the logo, how the logo looks like, very important. Okay, it's asking me to run it now, just run it. Now say next. It's very simple. There's no need to worry what options to be checked, nothing. Just click on next, next, next. Select all those options which are available here, nothing to understand because these are all required check boxes which helps you to run the software. So say next, next, next. It will simply run the already PyCharm icon is trying to show up on your desktop now. Let's try to see a little bit later how the logo actually we can see at the left side, PC PyCharm with a black color and some colors behind it. So this is how the PyCharm looks like. So it will take some time here. Once this PyCharm is downloaded, I'll try to open and show you how PyCharm looks like. And can we write same place 10+2, which I've written in Python and as well as Jupyter Notebook? Let's see in the PyCharm. This is just an example to tell you, you can use any IDLE in order to write your programs. Okay, any IDLE is better for us because we are just beginners. So, okay. All right, guys, now you can see the PyCharm is installed, is about to complete. You can see it's asking you, do you want to reboot now? If I reboot now, I'll lose the connection with you guys. So I want to manually reboot later. So I'm saying finish. So once the PyCharm is installed, you can see that this is how the PyCharm looks like. Now, when I'm when I'm trying to double click or open it, what happens is it will open for the, as I say, keep saying, like when you're opening any application for the first time after installation, it will take some time because it has to understand the whole system. See, you can see the colorful PyCharm logo and it's asking for the configurations. You already installed and downloaded. So this is what the problem. So it's fine. PyCharm 2021, guys, this is the latest version of this year, which I got installed. So whenever you install it, you'll get a new installation. So it's trying to open. Let's try to explore how PyCharm. So whichever is comfortable for you, go for it. But otherwise, I'm going to mention in the upcoming session, which one is the best for us being the learners. Okay, being the learners, which one. But if you keep all these applications ready in your system, it's good. Okay, tomorrow, wherever, whichever stream you want to select, whether web designing or game development, it will be useful for you. It's not waste. But if you don't have space, select only one software and install, that's enough. So it's taking little time to show up on the screen right now. Let's wait. We need to have patience for the first time installing. It's all together. If you can spend tonight or tomorrow, anytime when you get time, it will hardly take 30 minutes or 40 minutes to install this entire system. Okay, I can see PyCharm is ready to take my instructions or my programming here. Okay. Now, being for the first time, it's trying to open all those windows or required information for my system. Yeah. So the moment it opens, first it's the question is asking you, do you want to start a new project? New project, any program when you're writing, it's a new project, right? If you already have a program, you can open it, but I'm just clicking on a new project. So once I open the new project, it's looking like a black screen or something. Okay, here the first one you can write your program name. That is first Python. That is my file name. Okay, don't worry. Just look at this, how it looks like. Once you say create, it is trying to create my Python project for the first time on my computer screen right now. So it's trying to load all those required information for your system. And once it is ready, I can start writing the code. You have seen already Spider. It looks more or less like a spider, but it has more features than than your Spider. So once this is open, we'll see complete the way we are supposed to use the PyCharm and as well as Jupyter Notebook as well as Spider, and we'll decide one ideally to go for the entire sessions. Okay, so this is what I'm getting tips here. It's not required for me, so I'm simply clicking on don't show me. Simply saying close. It's running slow. All right, it's still loading. Actually, we need to wait for some time, and it is trying to tell me what all you can do here. So for now, let me simply same example which I want to take 10 plus 20 or 10 plus something. I can increase the font size also, and it is graphically colorful. Uh, okay, once this is done, we can right click and say run. It may not run or may run. Let's try to see because it's already installed and uninstalled earlier. Okay, select that one, or you can directly go for the run option. We'll see everything when you're writing the programs. Uh, it's not showing up. So whenever you're running something, it will first show you this dialog box that I'm about to run, and the file name is like main and main.py because I've not given any file name. So it's telling like your file name is main. Main is nothing but the main file name, and .py, as you know, Python. So once I run it, it should show continue anyway. So for the first time, it will get all these dialog boxes. At the bottom, it will show you all the output. Right now, it's showing an error. I'll show you in the next session how to open up this one, how to write the program. Maybe I've uninstalled. That is what causing the error here. Print. Let me see if I can show you the output. Right click. Oops. That's all for today, and we have seen the complete process of installation of Python, that is Python main software itself, and then we have seen how to install the IDLE. Okay, and in the IDLE we have seen the Anaconda, one stop for all the applications. In that we have seen how the Jupyter is opened or installed, launched, and open, how to work with it. We'll see more details when you start working from the next week session. When you're writing the program, what are the rules to be followed in order to do that? And we also seen that's the Spider. Okay, we have seen PyCharm, how to install. Please make sure when you are installing any software, take your parents' help. Okay, before uninstalling or installing, it's very important. And once you install the software, please ensure if it is working or not by just giving some 10 plus 2 some simple calculation, because we don't know how to write the code at this moment, right? So just try to use something and see if it is working. If it is working, be ready for the next session. That's all for today, and have a great weekend. Thank you.